ibi tẹ́ wá ń ṣe ẹ lè nínú kan tá lè fi.
Oh no, ni mo ń try láti wo bóyá mo lè brighten it there, but
And the one they brighten a day, that would be fantastic.
because I'm using fluorescent, I was hoping the office ni mo wà, I was hoping that I will have the
Yeah.
table tí
Okay.
lè fi
Emma,
brighten it.
I think it's okay. We're now live. Good evening, good afternoon, good
Ẹ
morning.
jẹ́ kí n wo ná bóyá mo lè súnmọ́ bí tó tún máa wọ a bit bright.
Yes.
Yeah.
But overnight, it's okay. It's good like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Again, I want to welcome my viewers, my regular supporters of Otumba Who Latest show. It's another edition of Otumba Who Latest. Tonight, I have a very, very important personality, one of the candidates. But he will need to tell us what happened. Because I remember that he was he enrolled to run for the governorship of Ogun State. Tonight, I have Alagba Olufemi Falana, whom I'll be rubbing minds. I'll be talking about the ongoing politics in the polity of Nigeria, especially in Ogun State, where he one day wants to become a governor. Alagba Olufemi Falana, can you introduce yourself to our viewers?
Okay, thank you, Otumba, and thanks for having me here. It's been some time we've been planning this, and it's good that it's coming up eventually. Yeah, my name is Mr. Falana, Olufemi Falana, from Abeokuta. I ran in the last general election, 2023 general elections, as a governorship candidate for Ogun State. And it was a very interesting experience, one I find very challenging, but at the same time satisfying. The 2023 election wasn't my first election. I also participated in the 2019 election to test the waters, and that was also very interesting. But here I am today, been there, out, observing and seeing what's going on.
Thank you very much. When it comes to politics, I read political science, and I've also tasted practical politics firsthand. And that was many years back when after my first sojourn in Europe, 10.5 years or so, I went back to Nigeria and do my NYC. And I was privileged to be one of the assistants to Papa Obafemi Awolowo late. And the politics of then cannot be compared with what you see today. So a lot of things have changed. So I can imagine that when people like me start talking of politics of early 80s, politics in
of course.
But tonight, I want to start this discussion by asking you a couple of questions. And you already said it in your intro that you have always wanted to be a governor of Ogun State. What can I say? I'll be looking forward to that. I hope I'm still going to be around. So to see your dreams come, So as you speak, what do you think about the situation in Ogun State? I want to start by saying I think the concluded election is still before the tribunal. What are you hearing? What can you tell us about what is going on with the tribunal? Again, I must quickly warn you, we cannot prejudice, we cannot say certain things because the issue is more or less before the court. But you can tell us roughly what do you think about the last general election?
Yes, obviously, like many other Nigerians, majority Nigerians, and particularly having been one who participated in the elections, I wasn't very happy with the outcome. As a matter of fact, I was in Abeokuta when all the elections was taking place. On the day of the counting and at the various counting centers, it was very obvious to anyone that that was not a transparent election. There were just too many faults. People protesting here and there, TV images been seen all over the world of election malpractices, chaos, disorder. It was just obvious that something wasn't right with that election. And as you said earlier, in my opinion, what you said was that in the days of the 80s and the Obafemi Awolowo era, elections were different. Well, to me, it wasn't all that different. It hasn't really evolved to something better that we can be envious of today. It's like Nigeria is just going around the concentric circles of violence when it comes to election. Now, recently, if you remember, the invited observer group from Europe, the European Union Observer Group, they released their results and they totally condemned that election. I saw the clip, I saw the video clip, and somebody said in the video clip that, as a matter of fact, when the former American president, Jimmy Carter, when he came to observe an election in Nigeria during his heydays, of course, after stepping out from the White House, he was quoted to have said that he would not come to Nigeria to observe elections again. And we're talking of the 1980s. We're talking of the 1990s. If things were that bad at that time, and people like Jimmy Carter, who came to Nigeria to observe elections as ex-president of the most powerful country in the world, can make such comments at the time in the 80s and in the 90s, and up till today, things haven't improved, it means that there is a fundamental fault with electioneering, transparency, and franchising in Nigeria. There is a fundamental fault. And if there is a fault, it's absolutely down to the people who manage the system. It's the people who manage the system, nothing else. It is not the system that is wrong, but the people who manage the system. We need to ask ourselves, why is it that every system that works well all over the world, elsewhere in the world, once it is introduced to Nigeria as a standard practice, why does it not work? We really need to search our souls. Our leaders really need to search their souls. That why is Nigeria regressing despite its massive potentials? Look, the one thing a country needs is people. That is the most important resource that the country needs. And Nigeria has it in abundance. So why is it not working? Why do we keep pushing the not so good amongst us out as leaders? And when the good ones appear, we tend to run them down. Because the not so good ones that have come, they appear to have what everybody wants, money. And nobody cares how they got their money. You see, so it's a complex situation. Personally, like I said earlier, I'm not happy with the elections. Like many other Nigerians, I'm not happy with the elections. And I'm registering my protest. I said it at the time that, look, I'm listening at the vote counting. I'm listening to the results being counted. And I'm going, good Lord, what's going on here? This is not transparent. This is wrong. This is just totally wrong. Yet they went ahead, declared results, people got into power, and we are where we are today. I'm very sorry. Our elections, like you said, I'm not going to make comments about the ongoing court process. It's due process. The opposition parties and groups who feel they have a grievance and they are not very happy with the outcome, they have every right to go to the court, like they were told to go to the court, and they've gone to the court. Okay, but is the process transparent as well? We don't know, but we just await the process of the court until the outcome of this court hearing is known. Then obviously, Nigeria will know how or where it will make progress. But at the moment, I must say we are in limbo. We are in political limbo.
Thank you, Olufemi Falana. I cannot agree more. All what you said is 100% perfect. It's correct. It meets the prevailing situation in Nigeria because as we speak, but I can only add that this is not problem of yesterday. You also alluded to that. we're talking of since 1952, there has not been free and fair election. And the
Yeah.
only one that come close and say, oh, a free and fair election, blah, 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 just it was annulled by
Yes,
Nigerians
it was
in
annulled.
Nigeria.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And when you look at all this kind of thing put together, the question you ask is also the same question I'm going to ask. What exactly is wrong with us? Some people don't want to hear this. All what some
Mm.
people want to hear is where they can profit, what they can get out of this shenanigan, all this kind of mismatch,
Yeah,
have that different kind of standard in different kind of political institutions. We are yet to evolve. And that is very sad, because if we have templates to play with, like what is going on in America, in Germany, in UK, and so on and so forth, it is very sad to note that we are still not using this template. We still want to continue with what we want to do. In the process, that some people are going to be broken, some people are going to make advantage of this bad governance all over the place and make their money, and they don't care. I'm going to go to the next one, but before I go there, let me quickly say this to our viewers. Please, it would be nice if you can help me share this program. I have a former, I don't want to start using former now, because you're not one of the people that take your argument to the tribunal. Are you one of the
no,
people?
no. Actually, my party participated in taking in the tribunal, but I think they've withdrawn.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Yeah,
I mean,
my party APP, they
yeah,
participated initially in going to court, but I
yes,
think they've withdrawn the case.
and it makes a lot of sense. If you don't, like I said, we are not going to go into the nitty gritty of the case itself. But if your party towards think and say, we are so far behind going to court to seek for whatever redress, it's just not going to profit us. So what's the point? So I want to reiterate again that it would be nice if you can love, like, also share and subscribe to this show, just for other people to see it, so at least they can see, at least people that I bring to my show are people who can roll out information that maybe, not maybe, that would definitely give everybody inside information that we need to make formal and informal opinion of what is going on in Nigeria. Now, recently, again, we have talked about the conducted, concluded, but not yet completed election. That is, we're referring to
the court case.
The court cases. But
Yeah.
while we're at it, I can see that activities have already started. Those ones who are still even being challenged are already making a pronouncement already, because the truth of the matter, there cannot be vacuum in governance anywhere. It's not possible. So
Yeah.
while they are there, even if as we await the pronouncement, the judgment, and so on and so forth, the government cannot be in vacuum, and that's why I appreciate the governors, in fact, up to the presidency, that we are all waiting to see what's going to happen. Now, in between the federal government, I must say, and this is not an opportunity for me to start congratulating President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that within the short space of time, he had done so many things. We can see that compared to the past government, where the first 10 months was like a long time, nothing happened. It took them, I think, about 10 months to announce the minister and so on. Even though he has not announced any minister, but he has quickly hit the ball rolling, and then started appointing and so on. But there are two things that caught my attention. The first one is the subsidy, and then the second one is this issue of 8,000 handouts. We can use
8,000 naira palliative to families.
Handouts for some 20-something million or whatever. Let's start with the subsidy removal. What's your take?
Look, let me tell you something first of all before we get to the subsidy issue and any other existential issue he's just trying to introduce to reduce hardship and poverty in the country. You said something about the court case and the ascent of the present government into power. I mean, you see, that's the fundamental fault with Nigeria and why Nigeria do things differently in a way that does not support progress. For instance, the presidential election was held on the 25th of February, if I'm right. Okay. And from the 25th of February, the country has 3 months. Okay. Various services to do with the elections has 3 months until May 29 to hear cases, resolve cases, so that the country is not in limbo. The government that has been purportedly voted in can assume power with confidence, knowing that cases against it has been held. That wasn't done. Now, there is no reason why election petition hearing cannot be had within a month at the most. I understand that in Kenya, when the opposition took the present government Ruto to court, the case was had in 2 weeks. So the man ascended the throne in confidence, knowing that he's got the all clear. So why can't our courts, within that space of 3 months, hear that case within 3 months and either give the president, led by Tinubu, the clear run to tell him that now you now have legitimacy? Because what we have at the moment is not actually right. That there is a government in situ, there is a government in power, but it is not sure if it is still going to be there when the case is eventually held. I mean, that erodes confidence, doesn't it?
I appreciate that.
So that is why I said there is a fundamental fault with systems and processes in Nigeria. And this has got to do with people, the people who manage these systems and processes. It is not the system that is wrong. It is the people that manage it. Maybe for sinister reasons or other reasons, they just want it to be there. But it's not good for the country because it does not present the country well to the outside world. Now, I mean, if I were Tinubu, I wouldn't be happy to be in his position today because I'm not sure of tomorrow. What if the court says, oh, sorry, you lost the case? What is he going to do? Now we're going to start all over again. I mean, can you imagine that instability? Can you imagine that level of instability? So that is why I said people that manage our systems, who run our government, there is a fundamental fault in their thinking, or they put personal interest forward rather than country's interest. Because I don't know any other case anywhere around the world where government has transcended into power, but there is a case running against that government.
Understand?
I don't know. I really do not know an example. So this is why we do things differently in Nigeria in a way that it does not augur well for the country. And this is what brings in instability, lack of progress, corruption, and many other bad practices. I can understand Nigeria is complex. Nigeria is a complex case. I can understand that. But still, we humans, the people, the leadership that runs Nigeria, that decides the day-to-day activities, are the ones that make it complex. Because I believe if they were transparent and honest enough, Nigeria could have gone very, very far in development. And this is known to everybody. This is known to everybody. Because look, you can't deceive people. Nigerians are not fools. They are not fools. They know what is going on. But just because they haven't got the real power, and Nigerians are peaceful people, very peaceful people. Because what is happening in Nigeria today cannot happen in advanced democratic societies. They would have brought the government down. But Nigerians are just peaceful, loving people who just want to work hard, live their life, enjoy themselves, and go about their business. That's all they want. Nigerians are fed up. They're really, really fed up. So that is just that on the issue of transcending on to power. But I still think that is very, very wrong. What we have in Nigeria today is very, very wrong. And it shouldn't have happened. There is no reason why a court cannot hear election petitions within 2 months. Even if it has to postpone it to about 2.5 months, it still falls within that ambit of time before the inauguration date, so that whoever is then declared the winner legitimately by the court can then go into power with confidence. With confidence. So I think that's the way it should have been. On the issue of subsidy and any other program that the government is setting out at the moment, quite frankly, I think I mean, fundamentally, they are good ideas. Nobody can fault that, given the level of corruption in the petroleum industry. And subsidy issue has been a long time issue that has always courted and generated controversy for the past 10, 15, 20 years, always, okay? But those who are in power, those in the oil industry, they know what's going on. And anybody trying to assume high political power, like the head of state, they have an idea what's going on there. They've been briefed. They know what's going on. Okay, so for him to come in now and decide that, okay, the first thing he's going to do is take national interest and remove subsidy. Fine, I don't see anything wrong in it. But what I think they should have done is think of the negative effects and the impact, poverty impact on the people. That's what I think they didn't think about properly before going ahead to do what they had to do. Maybe it could have been done in phases. I'm not there. I'm not in the government. I don't know. It could have been done in phases. I don't know. But they took that decision based on probably information that has been handed over to him, plus what he knows and the need to act promptly and swiftly. So I wouldn't blame him for that. But how it has impacted people is the issue. Because obviously, when people are buying petrol at 180 naira per liter, and they were even grumbling and suffering at the time. Now subsidy was removed, and then the consequent impact in inflation and increase in cost of petrol. So can you imagine what the situation would be? I mean, it will be double hard for everyone. Now, for the government to now say they want to introduce palliatives to ease the burden of having to remove subsidy, it's a step in the right directions, but I think they didn't get it wrong, but I don't think they presented it properly. But then again, we need to be careful. I haven't actually read the government paper that proposes to introduce palliative to about 12 million people for 6 months. I haven't read the government paper. What I'm commenting about is what I have read on newspapers and social media, talk, and all else. Okay, and then the possible other information coming to me. So what I'm just saying is that the government should not have used the word palliatives. Nigerians are not beggars. Nigerians are not poor. Nigerians have pride. Okay, palliative is what you probably give to people who are poor. What you want to do is say that you want to introduce social support, help to people. And then don't give a figure. Don't give a figure. Just say to those in need. Because if you say you want to give it to 12 million people, Nigeria's population is purported to be about 200 million, with at least 150 million adult working population. Now, if you want to give it to 12 million people, what about the remaining 148 million adult working population and then student population? That's discriminatory. So what they should have done is say that they are going to, if they're calling it palliative, what they're going to do is that they are going to give social support to those in need. Now, have they set up the structure to distribute it? What I read briefly somewhere is that they just go, beneficiaries will receive it on their phone somehow.
I think I have a caller. I have a
Okay.
caller for you, even though because of time, let me allow this caller quickly. So
Okay,
maybe has a question.
All right.
Yes, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Segun Daniel.
Okay.
I'm calling from London. a fan of your program, Otumba Who Latest, and I appreciate you bringing your guest tonight. My question is very simple and is directed at your guest.
Okay.
I've listened with good attention to some of the condemnation your guest has mentioned regarding the election as well as the electoral process in Nigeria, or processes. My worries is, first, which is in the form of question, was your guest not aware of those procedures, the laws governing the electoral processes and procedures, how it will be challenged, the time limitation, the constitutional provisions for those time limitations, the judicial review of it, all that is entailed, that it is going to take longer time, even after any candidate has been declared winner and can be challenged at the court of law. I believe most of these candidates were aware of the provisions of the law. He's playing half-truth when, after they have lost, they are now condemning the situation. I mean, it's like asking the goalpost to be shifted in the middle of the game. You are aware of all this, that if I run for an election, if I lose, I have 180 days to challenge. I mean, I have 28 days to put in my petition at the electoral tribunal. The tribunal has 180 days to make a determination on that petition.
Okay.
And I subsequently have an appeal, which is going to take another 90 days, subsequently to the Supreme Court, which will take 60 days. So all these are already being provided for, unless they said they want to claim they are misguided. You know that, and you know that within the time that the election was concluded, at the time of the declaration, there is a terminal date for the swearing in, which means the petition will continue even after the swearing in. It's a bit economical of truth for somebody to now say, oh, because I have lost it, now say, oh, the process itself is flawed, is this, is that. I think that should be taken with a pinch of salt.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel. And I also want to quickly say, there's a quick exception. I got a text from Mr. Daniel. I think he's going somewhere. That's why I allowed it. I will be towards in maybe another 15 minutes. I'll be allowing people to call in to this show, and the number to call. I'm coming to you, Alagba Olufemi. The number to call is shown on the screen. Is +44 7368 465 054. Let me quickly repeat: +44 7368 465 and 054. The number is showing on the screen. You'll be when I open the line, you can call in to ask or add to this show. Now, Mr. Olufemi Falana, you heard what the caller said.
Yes, with interest, actually. Yes, with interest. Yes.
Well, luckily, you are not one of the people that is pulling any
running the case against the sitting government. Yes.
Yeah, you're not one of them. You clearly said that in your introduction and also in the middle of the discussion. But I want to subscribe to the caller's line of argument that because it's a common thing among the Nigerian politicians. Like we said, you and I agree that since 1952, there's not been an election that has not been challenged.
Yes.
When you look at what is going on in the UK, you cannot go. There's no electoral commission there's no electoral tribunal in the UK. Over the last 100 years, you go into election, 99% of what you need to do, what you need to play with also, it will have been cleared. And you know the rule. You lose, you lose. But then again, there will not be a room for any candidates to point and say, oh, you leave this hole, you leave that hole. But let me quickly allow you to respond to the caller's line of thinking or argument or observation.
Yes. Yes, good. I'm glad the caller called to express his opinion based on the legal elements of the processes and procedures. Well, that is precisely what I'm saying. It's not that I'm not aware of the procedures or legal requirements, the number of days, but that's precisely the problem. What I'm saying is that given past experience, why haven't the country reviewed these procedures so that it can fit within that 3-month period? So that the new government that has been voted in, if it is challenged by the opposition, can be challenged within that 3 months. That is what I am saying. Okay? So I'm not saying there are no legal processes or time periods by which this has to be done, that has to be done. I'm just saying that in Nigeria, it's not very effective. That procedure needs to have been reviewed and updated to meet with modern requirements. Because I don't think it is a good thing to swear in a government that is being challenged. That's my point.
I understand. Again, there's a similarity in some other
African countries.
Yeah, other countries. You can even look at America, that despite the fact that Joe Biden, the current president of America, has been sworn in, even up to a couple of months ago, there is a challenger challenging his, but again, we don't want to, there's the gap between us and America and some others.
This is where legal processes is very, very strong.
Yes.
Like I said earlier, in Kenya, it took about 2 weeks for Ruto to be challenged. Just 2 weeks.
Yes. And there's also
the man was pronounced as the winner. And that's it. He went into government with confidence, with all legitimacy.
Yes.
So that is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I agree with you. And I also want to say that this is a problem that we need to deal with. Because
exactly, for the future, probably.
I think the caller is calling back again. I think I must say, let me tell the caller that not to call now, or in another 5 minutes, I will allow people to start calling in. Then you can please call in again. Let me quickly take my guest through 1 or 2 more questions. So I have to decline that call. So, right. Yes, I've been allowing people to call in another 5 minutes. Let's quickly go to some other area which is usually I do on my program. You must have heard about the Yoruba Yoruba campaigners. Yoruba are now talking about wanting to exit Nigeria. I mean, they want to have their own nation. I'm one of the campaigners. I'm not going to deny that. I'm one of the campaigners, and I'm very, very proud to be a Yoruba who eventually thinking about we have many reasons, good reasons, to want it to be on our own. Even though a large number of people who are Yorubas who are thinking in the opposite direction, they also have the right to see whatever they want to do. And I must say, I use every opportunity to say this. I abhor, I do not like, I do not subscribe to people who will openly get angry with you because you are not supporting the cause. It's a cause.
I think that's just immature.
So, but what's your take on about this campaign to wanting to have?
I believe people, individuals, group of people have a right to express themselves and make demands that they deem fit for their people. I believe that. And I believe that they can do it in the best possible way in a peaceful atmosphere and environment to agitate their cause. Look, what we need to know here is that the Yorubas are great people. I'm a very happy and proud Yoruba man, okay? But if a group of my fellow Yorubas get up and say that, in their opinion, they think they are better off being a sovereign state, country, independent, why not? It's their belief. It's what they want. Okay? But no matter what they do, it is still down to them to take the initiative. So people are free to do whatever they like, as long as it falls within the ambient of legality. And they are very right to agitate for an independent state of Yoruba state. Yoruba is great. Look, I'll say something and I'll say it again. Without being arrogant, the Yorubas are very, very important in Nigeria. Very, very important. That southwest region is very important in Nigeria. Okay, so this matter needs to be treated very, very deftly. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to fault any group or anybody who says that, look, this is our case, this is what we want. And I think it will be right for the government to listen to them, talk to them. There's no need for aggression. Talk to them, let them hear their opinion and see what can be done and see how we can bring the country together or not, or accede to their request. It's entirely up to how the situation goes. But I believe people have a right to express themselves.
Thank you. I mean, obviously, you are a politician. I know that about that. And let me ask you a kind of a hypothetical question. The hypothetical question would be, if in God willing, in 4 years' time, you now become the governor of Ogun State, one of the heartland of the Yoruba people, will you be prepared to stand up and raise the idea of Yoruba want to exit? Will you have the clout? Will you be prepared to do that kind of a thing? Because you and I know, we agree that wanting to take a nation out of a nation is a political process. You cannot shortchange it. You have to go through the politics, the nuance of how to do it. No shortcut. You and I agree in some of our discussion that America cannot take Yoruba nation from Nigeria for us.
Of course, yes.
The combination of the UK, Germany, all over the world, they cannot get Yoruba nation out of the existing Nigeria. So, but the question again is, if you are to become governor of Ogun State, which I look forward to seeing you achieve your dreams, aims, and aspirations, will you be willing to come up boldly and say, well, it's okay, I've been elected governor of Ogun State, but then again, the agenda of the Yoruba people has to be jealously pursued. Are you willing to do that?
That's not a yes and no answer. As you will understand, if I become governor of Ogun State under the sovereign entity of Nigeria, okay, I cannot be seen to be working against the Constitution. Okay. Or if there is a constitutional provision. Maybe there is no constitutional provision, but what I will be expected to do is bring people together. Okay. But if agitators come to me, I will just have to play it diplomatically. Now, the other question is, the other question now is that the present governors who are legitimately there, what's their position? That is the question. What's their position on this tasking issue of Yoruba independence, Yoruba nation? What's their position? So that's why I said it's not a yes or no answer. As a governor, you have an allegiance to a nation, to a country. You also have an allegiance to your people, the state you govern. Therefore, there has to be a balance.
Okay, sounds good. All right. I mean, at this time, at this junction, anybody who wants to come in, who wants to join this discussion, I still have to play with another 20-something minutes because Mr. Olufemi Falana took time out of his very busy schedule to come to this show. Even though, like he said at the initial stage, we've been talking about it for almost a year, even more than that now. But I'm so happy that I have him on my show today. So if anybody want to call in, the number is on the screen. I can repeat it to you again. Take a pen. It's +44 7368 465 504. I think I have a caller. Hold on a minute. Hello. Hello. Who is?
Yes, this is Olufemi Francis calling.
Okay, what's your contribution? Is it a question or a contribution?
Yes, I want to first of all appreciate this excellence. A question.
Hello. Hold on a minute. I think you're operating two lines in your house. You will have to stop one or reduce the volume of one, then we can hear you. Otherwise, your call will be echoed and we will not be able to attend to your call. Just
okay, I've done that.
thank you very much.
Now.
Thank you very much.
So
I appreciate it.
I want to ask His Excellency, are we expecting coming 2027? That is my question.
Oh, yes.
Sorry?
Okay, the question is, thank you very much. You need to switch off both. The question is, so you're looking forward to run again. I also have it here. I wanted to ask you, from what politician never give up. No, I know. Like I say,
all I can say is that I love what I do. I love politics. I studied diplomatic studies. I did political sciences as a subject, did international relations as a subject. So all my life has been revolved around political studies. I'm not going to give up politics because I love Nigerians and I think Nigerians deserve better. And I believe I have a potential to fulfill. I know it's very, very challenging. It will be very, very challenging, but I'm preparing. But I cannot say for definite that come 2027 now that I'll be going for it again. But I'm going to prepare and see what happens. But I would love to see a situation where I can preside over the welfare of Nigerians through my social welfare program, through my statutory social welfare programs for Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Olufemi Falana. I do appreciate you. Let me say again, for those of you who are watching, please, I know some people are watching through the YouTube outlet, but please, if you can help share, tell people to love, like, and subscribe, and other people might get information they need on this show. I think I have another caller. Let me quickly go to this caller again. Hello? Hold on a minute. Hello? Hello, caller.
Yes, hello. So sorry, this is calling back.
Yes, okay. You have 1 minute because of time. There are some other people. Okay. Yeah, okay. 1 minute, please.
Good. How does he want to manage the House of Assembly coming 20? How does he want to manage the House of Assembly if peradventure he comes from the minority party?
Okay. All right. I will explain that to him. Yeah. Thank you. The question is, I may be a little bit faint. Yeah. People should please call the number I gave to you because you're calling my number. Maybe people who knows me is calling my number. If you call the number I announced to you, that will take you straight to the studio. Now, Mr. Falana,
yes.
The question is, if you end up becoming the governor and then which is understandable that the majority in the House of Assembly are anti your party or not your party, how are you going to manage?
Let's just say that's a very interesting question. And that's the beauty of the complexities of politics. And correct me if I'm wrong, I really do not think any minority party has actually won or has actually, any minority party candidate has found themselves in that kind of situation before. So that's why I said it is the complexities of politics. Of course, if I find myself in that situation, it will be by negotiations. You have to reach out to people. You have to play it as best as you can because you need the National Assembly to pass regulations, to pass laws, and govern the state. So if you find yourself as a minority governor with the majority from the major parties, you just have to be smart in how you deal with them, develop a working, cordial relationship with them. You can't afford to be sinister in your relationship or try to be selfish to a degree. But you've got to recognize the fact that, look, there is a challenge here and it needs dexterity to deal with it.
Thank you. Sounds very good to me. Also as a student.
It is an open-ended question. It does not. There is no definite answer to it because, as I can recall in the history of, in the annals of politics in Nigeria, that such a case hasn't existed. We've always had members of the two major political parties at the helms of affairs. So, but should the situation arise in my own case or in any other person's case, what I will be saying is that treat with dexterity, respect them, and recognize the fact that they have power and you have power as well. So there needs to be a balance.
And I want to appreciate that. And also, this is also things that we're supposed to be learning from. We sometimes, if it is convenient, we claim, oh, we have been colonized. We are a colony of UK. But there's a lot of great things UK has been doing. They are still doing it, and they could still do. If you look at in the UK, fantastic, great idea that even a party has a large majority. There is still provision. There must be an opposition. In fact, they create opposition to foresee, to make sure that things, it's opposed when it's to be opposed, and when they need to agree. We still even having it there. So
no, our own democracy is still at an infancy.
Yeah, no.
And yes, it is still at an infancy because, number one, like you said rightly, there is no opposition in Nigeria. So that's not proper. That's just not right. And it comes back to what I said earlier, that part of the review of political process, okay? If we begin to have good opposition, like they have in the UK here, of course, it's a different system of government. It's a cabinet system of government here, okay? And we have a parliamentary system of government, okay? So their government is set up in a way to be transparent, and there is nothing you can do about it. The opposition is recognized as a pseudo government in its own right. But in Nigeria, we don't have nothing like that. So it's just a winning party, and that's it. And they are at liberty to do whatever they like, cajole other people, persuade other people, and just worm their way through the so-called opposition, who are largely always in the minority. So they have power. And until we can change the status quo in Nigeria to reflect a situation whereby the second largest party in parliament is recognized as an official opposition with officially recognized, constitutionally provided for opposition leader, then we are not going to have accountability, checks and balances in the way we do our politics in Nigeria.
All right. Thank you very much. Again, I still have another about 10 minutes to play with before I allowed my guest tonight, Olufemi Falana, who, as I've said, a very good, he's a good politician. I know I read his antecedents, and I know that he's a highly qualified, bona fide Egba Yoruba in Ogun State, that he can make. It can make a good governance in Ogun State. A quick one. When you look at Ogun State, you look at the number of bad governance, bad mismanagement going on, and so on. Let me take example of the roads. How do you? What do you say to the government? Yes, you're not in government, but what will you say to government of Dapo Abiodun? What exactly is going on? When you look at an area of Ikperu, Ishagamu, Ota, Songo, and all most of these supposed to be a connection to hobnob economic. They are settled with bad roads. What exactly? Yeah, talk us just as an indigene of Ogun State, because we are not in government. Just address it like I'm one of the indigenes.
I mean, if I were to be the governor of Ogun State today, there is just one area of governance I will tackle. First of all, priority, and that's investment in people through my statutory welfare state program. Because like I keep saying, people are everything. It's people who will do the work. When you empower people effectively, things will get done. You don't leave empowerment of people and trying to tackle other money issues. That will be done very well if you invest, first of all, in people. First of all, create a system of social welfare Not everybody wants to be part of a social welfare system whereby they have to go and get palliatives from government or get handouts from government. There are very, very much majority more proud people. But for those who are in need, and many people, and many people are in need everywhere in Nigeria, not just Ogun State, recognize that fact first of all and structure how support will get to them. My plan was to set up a social welfare system. I was going to divide Ogun State into 4 development regions so that everywhere can develop all at the same goal with 4 development commissioners. And I was going to target, and I was going to target, first of all, roads, because people need to get to where they're going. Target transports. People need to get to where they're going. And then, of course, what exists in the area of agriculture. Target that, because people need to put food in the market. It may be short, long-term program, but there are some issues that needs to be targeted first of all. I can do wonders in Ogun State for years. I got a team ready. Okay, I got city builders. I can do wonders in Ogun State in 4 years. I'm not saying the present government is not doing it. They are doing that. But after the first 4 years, 2019 to 2023, I can't see what they have done that has made a difference in Ogun State. The roads are still bad. They're not drivable. Floods, no water. I can understand at the time electricity supplies is a national issue and the state governments did so much. But there is a lot that could have been achieved in 3 years. Okay, I can't believe that in this day and age, in Nigeria, not just Ogun State, people are still fetching water in capital cities. I cannot believe that. People are incorporating boreholes as part of a building plan. What about the reservoirs that we used to have? When we were young, or Otumba, you remember, when we were young, we had water supplies. Those of us who live in Lagos and other places, we had water supplies from the reservoirs. Water was flowing from the reservoirs into the homes. We did not know what was called, or what is called today, boreholes. We don't know that. Water came from the reservoir. Why has everything regressed in Nigeria? It's terrible. It's a wonderful place. Ogun State is just perfect. It has the right number of population, about 3-4 million now, I think. According to the last census, it was about 3.7 million. So give and take, maybe about 5 million right now. And for the budget that comes into Ogun State and the people it is meant to serve, and for what Ogun State is today, any government should have been able to do better with that resource.
Thank you very much. I won't let you go on. I have 2 major questions, and I want you to address them as quickly as possible so we can close at your specified time, 1 hour of the show. Corruption and religion, how do you think that can be tackled? But not, I'm aware that people say charity begins from home. Corruption, religion, these are 2 very, very volatile, very, very area of concern for people looking at us from house. How can you quickly put these 2 together one by one so we can round up?
I think first of all, look, it's a complex, difficult case. The whole world is corrupt. There is no country in the world that is not corrupt. There are countries more corrupt than Nigeria. But look at what they have done to their country with corruption. Look, this country I'm sitting in is one of the most corrupt countries, but look at what they have done to the country with corruption. In the United States, there is no corruption. China, Russia, everywhere, there is corruption. But look at what these people have done with corruption in the country. You will think there is no corruption because they have ameliorated it. They have kept it in the back burner and they do it intelligently. So you don't say it. You do not say it. But in your own case, it's just blatant. Nobody cares. And the fact is that all these billions voted for this and for that, and it has been spent. At the end of the day, you don't see nothing done with the money. So what we have to do, we have laws. We can only appeal to the police to their best to ensure that people are protected, to ensure deterrence. And then also, at the political level, okay, at the primary level, during electioneering, the people themselves must seize the initiative, actually ensure that the right, honest people are voted in at the primary level, primary election level. That's the key element. We need people with honesty who can do things transparently. That's what we need. And that is one of the ways we can deal with corruption, because you just can't keep on arresting everyone. Even Obasanjo, as much as he fought corruption during his time, he said he can't arrest everybody. Why is it that every head of the EFCC at the end of their tenure has been arrested for one crime or the other? And that is the corruption fighting entity in Nigeria. Can you imagine that? Every head of the EFCC that left has been prosecuted or arrested and questioned, interviewed for one act of corrupt practice or the other. So where are we going to go? It's a very, very difficult case. We can only appeal to the police and those responsible for law and order to ensure that people who transgress the law at any level, in any case, are brought to book. And the legal system is also there to ensure that the law is properly interpreted without fear or favor of anyone. And these are the reasons why these countries that we are supposed to have been worshipping, or that we look up to, that our leaders run up to in the West, in Europe, everywhere, in China, they dealt with corruption positively, robustly, transparently. And then it reduced, not that it went away. Corruption don't go away. Corruption is part and parcel of human activities. We need to recognize that. But we need to appeal, first of all. I mean, at the stage we are today, we need to appeal to our leaders to please have a change of mind and be honest within themselves for the good of their people and image of the country.
Quick one on religion. 1 minute, please. 1 minute on religion.
Religion is also another powder keg in Nigeria. I just wish that we keep on praying. We respect each other's faith. You know, less of religious violence. It's just about respect. It's just about respecting each other's faith. Why is the south of Nigeria so peaceful religious-wise, and the north is so convoluted? Why? Look, religion is about peace and love. Let's look at it from that point of view and respect each other. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much, Alagba Olufemi Falana. It's been my pleasure having you on my show. I promise you 1 hour is 1 hour. I have 2 more minutes or 3 more minutes to go. Viewers.
So you think we've already spent 1 hour?
Yeah, exactly. Hadibi, you have more time.
Nice.
But again, these days, I just realized that if what we cannot and what all we can discuss can take 1 hour, because you expect some people to watch it again. Is a documented evidence of who you are, all what you have professed today. It's going to go in history for maybe another many years, years to come. You know, so that's why I'm very proud of this show, that when I bring people, if you don't have immediately 1,000 people, you know, watching, it doesn't matter.
It migrates. It migrates.
Many, many years back. You're also going to have opportunity to watch it and say, oh, I should have said Again, I just want to thank you very, very much. I appreciate viewers. This is all what I can take today. And my guest has been Olufemi Falana. He was a gubernatorial candidate in the last election. But then again, he has told us he's not willing to give up. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you, viewers. This is the end of the show. Alagba, we'll be talking later. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Otuba, and thanks for having me, and thanks for the audience listening.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Cheers.
Bye.